Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's April 11th, 2017. The big news story this evening, the White House press secretary, Sean Spicer, issued an apology to the nation. He apologized because earlier today he made remarks in the direction of Russia that even Adolf Hitler wasn't low enough to use chemical weapons. And he's saying this in the direction of Russia because they're backing al-Assad, who is supposedly responsible for carrying out a chemical weapons attack against his own people. Last week's news, April 4th, 2017. Here we are 7 days later, April 11th. Anyhow, the media caught wind of his remarks, and they said, wait a minute, he just said Adolf Hitler didn't use chemical weapons, but what about the Holocaust and the gassing of Jews with poisonous chemicals? So Sean Spicer said, my apologies, my remarks were not correct, I'm sorry for making them, and you know, if you have the news right now, it's a fest of everyone weighing in on this. They have the Clintons commenting, Chelsea Clinton's Twitter, the whole Clinton family, we have to know that they don't approve of this, and a million other people. But they're just showing all these celebrity big names that we know who disapprove of Sean Spicer's remarks comparing al-Assad's chemical weapons attack, which is straight propaganda right from the film Wag the Dog, no different. See all the work I've put out exposing what it is. We're living in a crazy age. We're being duped into thinking wars are going on that aren't even happening. It's a way of fleecing the public, lending for wars that aren't happening so tyrants can make interest and taxpayers can pay the bill. Taxpayers who their only connection to what's going on in this world is through the television. Now understand, when they contrive these wars, they send soldiers off, and the soldiers, they do their patrols, and that outrages locals, and you have militia rising up, and then you have militia getting killed by the occupying forces. These things happen, but it's all made from TV magic. Firing missiles at a military base that's been empty since the 90s, the 80s. That's what they did last week. The whole chemical weapons attack, staged propaganda for TV. Donald Trump's response 2 days later, made for TV. Again, Wag the Dog. If you have not seen that film is the ultimate mockery of us and at the same time the ultimate truth. Check out that film, Wag the Dog. But look, here's the deal. Here's why Sean Spicer is having to do this today, April 11th. This whole story is contrived. Him making the remarks, the media calling out, him apologizing. Remember, not long ago on Holocaust Remembrance Day, Donald Trump signed the Middle East travel ban. That was on Holocaust Remembrance Day. I'm going to show you what today, April 11th, has to do with the Holocaust. But before we do that, I just want you to see Sean Spicer getting interviewed by Wolf Blitzer talking about the apology. Just listen to the propaganda, straight from the horse's mouth. We'll take a minute 35 for this, then I'm going to show you why this is all happening today, April 11th. It's news by the numbers. Check it out.
Sean, thanks very much for joining us. I know you want to clarify what you said, but why did you even make that comparison to Hitler on gas attacks? As you know, 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust, many of them with poison.
So I just want to make a point about 6 million. In the Talmud, which is the Jewish holy text separate from the Torah, authentic Jews go by the Torah. The Talmud's this corrupted text that's taken over the Jewish faith. In the Talmud, it says that the Jews are God's chosen people, and the rest of the world is goy. They're a lesser being. The purpose of the goy is to make life pleasant for the Jews, to work for the Jews, to be the slaves of the Jews, to generate interest and revenue for the Jews. This is all explained in the Talmud. And in the Talmud, it says that 6 million Jews have to die to reclaim Israel for the Jews. Because in the Torah, it says that the Jewish people having a state of their own is forbidden. They've been punished by God. But in the Talmud, it says 6 million Jews have to die, then they can reclaim it. So you can look this up. Papers from the late 1800s in the United States of America, in Europe, probably elsewhere. Papers from the late 1800s up to World War II printed many, many times over that 6 million Jews had died in some part of the world. It was a lie told so many times, but it never stuck until after World War II and the Nuremberg trials, which were all propaganda, and most of it has been taken back. At the Nuremberg trials, it was claimed that the Nazis were making furniture out of the skin of Jews who were killed in the Holocaust, making lampshades. That was all said at the Nuremberg trials, but afterwards it was all proven false. Pretty much everything about the Nuremberg trials has been proven false, including the Holocaust, but still the lie of 6 million Jews persists. And this isn't to ruin anybody's history. This is to talk about the truth and what's going on in the world and why this lie keeps being drug out. It's because it's part of an agenda, a corrupt agenda, an agenda that's not good to anyone. It's not good to the Jewish people. You know, it's a big part of the reason there's so much conflict in the Middle East that the United States is always involving itself with. Big story. But understand, 6 million Jews, that's a specific number, a number that was claimed, an amount of Jews that had died several times over from the late 1800s up to World War II in many papers. Had all those claims been true, there wouldn't have been any Jews in the world. There never were that many Jews as many times as it was claimed 6 million died. And the lie never stuck until after World War II. We're going to get to why this news is coming today. It has everything to do with a Jewish belief system known as Kabbalah or Kabbalah and the practice of Gematria. We're going to get there. Let's just finish listening to the propaganda. I'm going to try to be quiet for the rest of this.
Poison gas.
Well, thanks for having me, Wolf. I was obviously trying to make a point about the heinous acts that Assad had made against his own people last week, using chemical weapons and gas. And frankly, I mistakenly used an inappropriate and insensitive reference to the Holocaust, for which, frankly, there is no comparison. And for that, I apologize. It was a mistake to do that. And you know, I appreciate Director Panetta's comments, and we'll keep those in mind.
So tell us who you're apologizing to right now. There are Holocaust survivors out there who were listening to what you said and couldn't believe a spokesman, the press secretary for the President of the United States, would make such a statement. So just specifically, tell us who you want to apologize to.
Well, clearly, you know, anybody who not just suffered in the Holocaust or is a descendant of anybody, but frankly, you know, anyone who was offended by those comments. It's not, as I said, I'm not, you know, in any way standing by them. I was trying to draw a comparison for which there shouldn't have been one. It was insensitive and inappropriate. So I'm not looking to quantify this in any way. It was an attempt to talk about, I should have stayed focused on the Assad regime and the dangers that they have brought to their own people and the terrible atrocities they did, and to drag any other comparison into this was not appropriate.
All right, so notice how many times he said Holocaust. We're going to talk about why today, April 11th, in terms of numbers, in the very Jewish language of Gematria, has everything to do with Holocaust. First, just notice CNN's headline, Spicer apologizes for Hitler remark. In the language of Gematria, that sums to 174, which is a relevant number. The motto from the Holocaust is never again. Never again sums to 174. So does New World Order, and so does Number of the Beast, which I thought I put up here. Yeah, Number of the Beast is up here. In the end of this video, I'm going to teach you something about Number of the Beast, the Synagogue of Satan, the name for the false Jews said to rule in the end times from the end of the Bible, Revelation, and what that has to do with Wolf Blitzer, who's born on March 22nd. So today is April 11th. April 11th. Written 11/4 in most parts of the world. Using the alphabetic order, using simple English gematria, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, up to Z, the 26th letter is 26. The word Holocaust equals 114. If you look up what Holocaust means, it means burnt animal sacrifice to the gods. So you have to ask yourself, why would they choose this word to remember what happened? And, well, lo and behold, it has the same gematria as World War. 114, 114. And supposedly, the U.S. was bombed at Pearl Harbor, which got us in the World War. So today, 11/4, and we're getting, more focus on the Holocaust than we've gotten since Holocaust Remembrance Day, the day Donald Trump banned the Muslims. Remember? Remember what a sick joke it is? See, this is all part of the Zionist Masonic agenda, which is a Jewish agenda, predominantly. And who are the biggest enemies? Muslims, So on Holocaust Remembrance Day, Donald Trump signs the Muslim ban. When Sean Spicer says, he made a mistake, what he forgot about is what's blamed for the Holocaust. That chemical is Zyklon B. Zyklon B sums to 33, just like Holocaust. The Nazis came to power in 1933. They replaced the Weimar Party, Weimar 33, Nazis 33, transition of power in 33. The transition happened in Berlin in 33, This little phrase, war games, sums to 33, and I just don't know how much of history we've been lied to about. I know people get killed in war, people get hurt in war. I don't know how much is deception, how much is wasting people's time. There's just so many lies in this world, it's hard to know. But anyway, Masonry 33, Secrecy 33, Order 33, it's Freemasonry and Zionism that's doing this. Freemason history based in the Old Testament, the Jewish part of the Bible. They're the keepers of knowledge, doing things the old world way. This is old world practice, numerology, gematria, thousands of years ago. You know what was going on in the U.S. in 1933 when the Nazis were taking power? Prohibition was ending. Alcohol, prohibition ended on a date with 33 numerology in the year 33. That's why Rolling Rock really puts 33 on their can. A lot of alcohol companies across the world have 33 gematria. Anyhow, Holocaust with the S exception also sums to 42. That's interesting because the Holocaust began in 1942. Freemasonry believes in order out of chaos, divide and conquer. Freemason 42. If you take the numbers that divide into 42, add them together, they sum to 96. Freemason also sums to 96. So does the word knowledge, 42 and 96. Freemasons, keepers of knowledge. Anyway, never again, that motto for the Holocaust, also 96. Because all of this is Freemasonry and an agenda. A Zionist Masonic agenda. I just uploaded that clip about a week ago. Malcolm X, not long before his death, weeks before his death, gave the speech about, why is the Jewish media always reminding you about the Holocaust? He said, you know what? A lot of people have been murdered all over this world. What about the natives here who got murdered? What about all the black people all over the world? Why are they always reminding you of just about their people? Like only their people matter. And people need to understand that. Constant movies, news to remind us of this. Meanwhile, they don't want us to know about anything else. Learn the history about Christopher Columbus, who supposedly discovered the land where the Indians lived, He was Jewish, paid for by the Catholic Church, the same church that supposedly sent Hitler down to Argentina after World War II. Think about Hitler's death. We're about to get to that. Nobody found his body. It's not hard to see what's going on. Anyway, we talked about the never again New World Order. New World Order loves to stage false flags. The Nazis did it. The U.S. does it. New World Order governments do it. Today's date, April 11, 2017, date with 52 numerology. NWO for New World Order, 52. Authority, 52. Government, 52. President, 52. The president's man, Trump's man, compares to Hitler. I'm going to show you something about Hitler and Trump. Real quick, you should know this. The name Adolf Hitler using the alphabetic order is 110, just like president. His birthday is April 20th, 110th day of the year. You know? The date he's born, his birth numerology 113. In the Talmud, Bava Kama 113a. It's okay for somebody who's Jewish to lie to somebody who isn't. I don't know who Hitler worked for at the end of the day. Ultimately, it's obvious he was part of this network. Hitler played his part, and if he acted the whole thing, he's the most brilliant actor ever. I have a feeling that within their Masonic network, they found the man who had the most passion for the subject, the best speaker, and he brought it. You listen to the things Hitler said. If you actually go back and listen to what Hitler said, man, I'm telling you, he said things that are more relevant than any president we've had since then. Hitler wasn't evil. Anyone who wants to say Hitler's evil, he's no more evil than George W. Bush. Any of these people, Donald Trump, any of them. Bill Clinton, any of them. Barack Obama, any of them. Barack Obama signing off on the drone strikes so robots can blow people up over a non-necessary war. Oh yeah, what a great man he is. Barack Obama made it the law of the land that American citizens, while traveling abroad, can be assassinated if suspected of being a terrorist. That means no due process. It's supposed to be a constitutional right. Look, all these people are horrible. The point is, if you listen to what Hitler actually said, he said a lot of truth. He talked about work ethic and, human values and taking care of each other. And he talked about how over in America, everyone was getting hustled. Parents couldn't even raise their children. Already, the system, the TV, all this technology, the screen. He saw it. He said they're raising a society of gangsters over there, the Jews that got their whole system on lockdown. Society people that are just out for them, they don't even care about their fellow man. He said, you don't want to know what's going on in America. That's a sick society. And he said, it's going to be the same thing here if we don't stop this game. And you know what? I bet you go to Germany, I bet you the people are just like us over there for the most part. The New World Order is real. People of the world, they're all the same. They've been turned into commercial instruments. Worried about what kind of gear they got on and nothing else. But yeah, Hitler, he spoke a lot of truth. It's true. Look at it's very clear that Jewish people run the media. What do they give us? They give us nonstop violence and sex programming. And you know what? In this Jewish mysticism, Kabbalah, you study the tree of life, the 10 Sephirot, the base to keep you in your lowest level of thinking is sex. That's you're trying to ascend. And what keeps you down low is sex. And I'm not saying sex is bad, but when your mind's just always on sex, you're distracted. And that's what it's all about. And Hitler was speaking about these things, back when he was speaking. Raising a society of perverts, thugs, gangsters, people with horrible values. He said it's going to happen here if we don't defeat it. Was he wrong? He was not wrong. That's why you're told to think he's evil. They don't want you to hear what he said. And admittedly, every time I've ever heard him speak, it's through translation. I don't speak German, so I'm trusting that the translation's right. But I bet you anything it is right. The media still does the same thing to this day. Demonizes the truth, makes the truth evil, So Hitler, Abraham Lincoln, killed by an actor in a theater. Anyhow, Lincoln and Hitler both blamed for wars, both dead at age 56 in April. Hitler was also born in April. Adolf Hitler equals 56. So does President, so does Washington, D.C. Adolf Hitler has this 187 thing going on. It's one of these New World Order numbers. I want to show you something about 187 real quick in regards to the current president, Trump, who Sean Spicer was speaking for. Trump had his convention July 18th, 18/7, 187 days before Inauguration Day. 187 days, right? Before Inauguration Day in Washington, D.C. George Washington, 187, Washington, D.C. Adolf Hitler, 187. He was in Rockefeller Plaza with the Rockefeller family the night of the selection. Society of Jesus, that's the name of the Jesuit order. The Jesuits are said to have taken Hitler and protected him in Argentina for the rest of his life after World War II, and I bet you anything that's true. The Jesuits, the Masonic order in the Catholic Church, may be the most powerful wing of all of this. Remember, The church, it's about control, it's about money, and not even having to pay taxes. War's big money. Got to read about the history of the Catholic Church in World War II. A lot of forgotten history down the memory hole. Trump had his convention in Ohio in Satanic Gematria. Ohio also 187 like time. The last Republican president, George W. Bush, born July 6th, the 187th day of the year. So here, a little lesson to close this thing out. We started here with the number of the beast. You know, Spicer apologizes for Hitler remark, 174, like never again, like New World Order, like number of the beast. If you don't know what the number of the beast is, that comes from the 66th book of the Bible, Revelation 13:18. 13, the sixth prime number. 18 factors into 6 plus 6 plus 6. Revelation is the 66th book of the Bible, and this is teaching you about 666. Here is wisdom, 66. Notice also that Freemason equals 147, like here is wisdom. You see? But anyway, this is here is wisdom about the number of the beast from the 66th book of the Bible, which is the number 666. So look at this. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. You know, that part has the punctuation around it. The person with understanding. That verse sums to 223. Look at this. Masonic has Gematria of 223. So does the synagogue of Satan. In Revelation, it says the synagogue of Satan will rule in the end times. The synagogue of Satan are the false Jews. In this world, the people claiming to be Jewish are practicing Gematria, operating in high places, carrying out an agenda straight from the Talmud. You know, having a lot of parallels with Revelation. There's a letter written to the Church of Philadelphia about the synagogue of Satan. Look at this. Show you something cool. Philadelphia 223. The synagogue of Satan 223. Letter written to the Church of Philadelphia. Notice the Gematria of Church 101, and also notice it for Philadelphia. You see, this whole country, this whole language, it's all based on this, and it's all biblical. And we're living out this ongoing prophecy. That's why it's all about Israel. You know, Syria is the focus right now. Biblical territory. Let me show you one more thing about Revelation in 223 before we go. If I can pull this up real quick. Hold on, Truth Seeker. This is worth it if I can pull it up. Maybe it's going to be... Hold on, Truth Seeker. I thought it would come right up with that search. Sometimes I don't know the order of the way it searches. If you ever take the time to search my blog, go through these things. Here we go. This is what I want to show you. Revelation is the vision by St. John the Divine from the Bible. And in it, it says the synagogue of Satan will rule in the end times. Remember, the first verse of the Bible also has Gematria of 223, the beginning of Genesis. They say the Bible was first published on March 22nd, 22/3, the Gutenberg Bible, in the year 1457. This year they reopened Jesus' tomb on March 22nd, 22/3, you know, in Israel. But anyway, St. John the Divine, I'm telling you, Truth Seeker, we've been lied to. And for all of you who deeply believe in Jesus, I'm not saying that Jesus doesn't exist, his spiritual energy is not real. I have so many people that have confessed to me, even my own girlfriend, that the spiritual energy from the name Jesus is absolutely real. But I'm just saying, you know, don't take the Bible word for word. It's been manipulated. We've been lied to. It's agenda. You know, with regards to the numbers and everything, the Crusades 42, like World War, like war, like Freemason, when spelled right, you know, like history, like knowledge. Did you see that history was 1142? I should have put that up there earlier. You know, that goes with the Holocaust and what you learned in your history book. And history being a replication of the 39 books of the Old Testament? Guess that makes too much sense too. The New Testament begins with 42 generations to Jesus, the Christian portion. You know what the Crusades were waged on behalf of? But this is what's going on. You know, it's undeniable. And I don't know why people aren't catching on to this work. Been doing this for too long for it not to have caught on more. Alright, Truth Seeker. Until next time.